So I love learning to cook from different food from different countries, different cultures, from all over the world. And I love getting cookbooks. I prefer cookbooks than what I find online as individual recipes. Um, I just, you find a little more tested recipe when you have these books. And I just, I just like having a cookbook in front of me. It's hard to read off of the internet. When you're trying to cook something, there's like a million pop-up ads. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous the way it's gotten with these pop-up ads. And so I just rather have a cookbook. So I buy a lot of cookbooks that are, from, different cultures. And this one caught my eye. I've always wanted to learn to cook Puerto Rican. I have a good friend at work who is from Puerto Rico, and every time we'd have a potluck, he'd always bring stuff and it was always so good. So I wanted to learn to cook it myself. The one thing about Puerto Rican cooking is that it has a lot of its own spice mixes that they use as staples in all their cooking. I have been having a hard time finding those staples at the grocery store. I'm going to go to a Latin market we have in town to see if I could find them. But in the meantime, I ordered them online. But what's great about this cookbook is that when he calls for these staples, is that in the cookbook he has recipes for those staples so you can make your own seasoning mix. Now that's great when you have a big family and you're going to be making these things a lot. But it's just Mr. Martini and I. So I decided to buy these staples online first, kind of learn to cook these recipes, and then I'll try making these spice mixes. But some of the spice mixes he has in here are just sound amazing. And excuse me if I mispronounce any of them. I should be fluent in Spanish because I grew up in an area where Spanish was, very prevalent. And, and I also, lived in Mexico for a while and spent a lot of time there. But I just have a hard time pronouncing it. So excuse me if I butcher it. I'll put the words down on the screen. But this particular one is sazon. And again, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I need to ask my friend the way to pronounce it or go online and look. But this just sounds so wonderful, the ingredients he has in here. So he has like annetto seeds, which I have never heard of before or seen. Ground coriander, which is, it's like cilantro seeds. Cumin, which is a staple in Latin food and Asian food too, to be honest with you. And garlic powder, salt, and oregano. I mean, that just sounds wonderful. This one, it says that it's a Puerto Rican seasoning salt, adobo, and this one's got oregano, garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, cumin, paprika, coriander, and turmeric. Which just sounds wonderful. Turmeric is what makes curry yellow, and it's also really good for you. These flavors just sound amazing in food, and so basically his recipes will call for adobo or sazon, and then you either do it off the shelf or you've already got it mixed. So I ordered a bunch online on Amazon. I'll put the links down in the description of this video so you can find them too. And I found this one brand that I really liked. And the reason I liked the Louisa brand is because it's organic and it was very close to his recipes, the things that he called for. And you can see the yellowness in there of the turmeric. I also like this brand because I noticed that a lot of the other brands they had a lot of MSG in them. And if you're not familiar with MSG, that stands for monosodium glutamide. I haven't said it in so long, I'm trying to remember exactly. But the point is that it's not good for you. And they used to put it a lot in Asian food when you would like go to a Chinese restaurant. You would always have MSG in it. And so nowadays you'll look at a recipe and it will say no MSG. And that's because it was, found to be harmful to the body. So I noticed a lot of them had MSG in them. So when you do order your own or buy some, be aware of that in the ingredients. But I liked Louisa because it was organic and the brand didn't have that in there. So, so it says no GMOs and organic. And I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe this means that it's kosher. So it says no MSG, no preservatives, no artificial colors, and no artificial flavors. So it's just basically sea salt, achoat. I'm sure I'm butchering that, but that's another one of his mixes that he had in his recipes: cumin, coriander, garlic, oregano, black pepper. So you can see that a lot of the ingredients are the same as, that he was calling for. So this is one of the staples. So the classic Latin seasoning brings pure color and flavor to any dish. So use 2.5 teaspoons per cup of uncooked grains or beans. Rub on your choice of protein. Sprinkle on I don't know what that is, on tostones of your favorite savory snack. That's a new one to me. I'll have to look that one up. Oh, and they've got recipes too. So I think I'll look up some of those recipes. So I have several spices coming, and he called a lot for this. So we'll make some of these things. Now, one thing about Tony Rican is his name. One thing about the reviews that I saw on this, that there were Puerto Rican people that had done reviews, and they're like, we don't even recognize any of these recipes, and how can he call this Puerto Rican? Well, I'm not looking for a book that is so authentic that I can't even find the ingredients, and I can't, it's so different than the way I know how to cook that, that is, I just don't want, I'm looking for something easy to get the flavor and to, learn some of the basic Puerto Rican things, and I find too with cultural food that's, from other countries than my own, is that they tend to eat things that I may not care for, like octopus. I'm not a big fan. Some cultures eat a lot of fish, and to be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of fish either. I love shellfish, but I'm not a big fan of fish. But I love Latin food. And so I've bought several books from different countries up and down Central America and Caribbean and South America to use some of these spices that I've purchased. And one thing I've noticed is in the Cuban food and the Puerto Rican food, they use a lot of olives and capers. And so there is a mix that you can make that are these olives and capers in their ground beef. They also seem to use a lot of ground beef. And so I'm really excited. There's like a couple recipes that I really like one is mashed potatoes that you stuff with this meat mixture, and then you fry them, and they're so good. I've had it in Peruvian food, and I've never had it with Puerto Rican food, so I'm excited. They're also very big on black beans, cilantro. They have a lot of rice dishes where you mix the black beans and the rice, and there's a lot of staples that were as we cook these things, you'll see, and as you can see, I've got a lot of bookmarks in here. But I think that the first thing, like here's octopus salad. I will never make that. Just not my thing. He's even got some cocktails in here. So I wanted to show you what this looked like. It smells amazing. It smells like curry powder. It's the cumin in it and the coriander seeds that really make it smell like it's like a curry powder. It's like a Latin curry powder is the best way I can explain it. But oh, this in rice or on meat or the meatloaf is just going to be amazing. I am just really excited to use this in recipes because I love anything curry, and that it has that curry smell and taste to it is just going to make everything just amazing. I'm in an actual Latin store right now, and they've got tons of kinds of chilies, and they even have mugwort. Mugwort. I don't even know what you would use that for if you weren't Harry Potter. But I'm not finding any of the Puerto Rican spices that I even purchased online. So we'll keep looking. I located, these are some of the spices right here. So I did find some. Adobo is the one that I was looking for. I've already ordered this online. This one has got lemon pepper in it. This one's got cumin. And this one has bitter orange. So this one doesn't look like it's got the MSG in it though. It's got salt, garlic. I have no idea what that is, to be honest with you. An anti-caking agent, cumin, black pepper, oregano, and turmeric. I might go with the one I bought because it's organic and it wouldn't have the anti-caking agent in it. So I have gone all over town trying to put together a Puerto Rican pantry. So having the spices that I'm going to be needing, and it's been difficult. I found that my best bet was online because of not only what I was looking for, but the ingredients. Now, looking online, I noticed that a lot of Puerto Rican recipes, there's people that call for accent, the spice accent, and it really isn't a spice, it's just a piece of chemical, and it's all MSG. And again, I cannot stress enough that MSG is not good for you. And when I found a lot of these Puerto Rican spices in a Latin store, I looked at the ingredients and a lot of them had MSG in it. So the best one that I found was online, and that was this Louisa brand. And Louisa had all the spices that Tony Rican calls for in his book here. And what's great is that you could get a non-salted version, or everything was organic. There's no MSG in any of her products. And so I really recommend this Louisa brand. And I'll put links down in the description on the spices that I was able to purchase from Louisa. So not only did I go to a Latin store, but I went to my regular store, and I went to Walmart because Walmart has, at least in my town, has a pretty good Latin section. But they had nothing except, kind of pre-mixed like this, not in it, the Saison, not in, a nice bottle like this. It was like this pre-packaged stuff that you would just put in your crock pot. But I couldn't find anything except things that you normally can find in any store, like cumin is something you would want in your Puerto Rican pantry. Coriander seeds, okay, and oregano, of course. I also was able to find now in a lot of the Latin cooking, I know, especially in the Caribbean, such as Puerto Rico, or Cuba, they use a lot of green olives. I kind of have to look up to see why green olives are so popular in their cooking. Obviously, that's what they grow there, but who knew? Normally food that is popular ingredients because that's what is available in that place. But I didn't know that olives were such a big deal in Puerto Rico and in Cuba. I know black olives are popular in Mexican food, but not the green olives. So I've seen a lot of this brand, of this kind of olive in the recipe. They're usually smaller, the smaller olives with with the minced pimentos in them, and also capers. So if you don't know what a caper is, these are capers. They look like olives, green olives a little bit, but they're not. I love them in a really good, Italian recipes. If you saute some pounded out chicken and put some lemon juice in it and add some capers, it's just to die for. So they normally mix, what I'm seeing is they mix the green olives with the capers. So Tony has many of these pantry item mixtures in his book, and I can see why he does, because I've gone all over town trying to find spices. This is another one. Now, according to Tony's book, he says this doesn't really add flavor to your dish so much as it does a traditional color. And so there's an oil that you make with this. You mix it with olive oil in some of his recipes. Now, from Luisa, I also got the sofrito. And again, I apologize over and over again if I'm pronouncing these things incorrectly. Now, according to Tony's book, the green kind is, the kind that they use in Puerto Rico, where the redder kind is from other areas. And basically, it has bell pepper, tomatoes, onions, lemon juice, different kinds of peppers, olive oil, cilantro, uh, culantro, which is a very strong type of herb that's like cilantro. The flavor is like cilantro, but the look isn't. Apple cider vinegar, garlic, sea salt, organic black pepper, organic oregano, and organic turmeric. So this is a big staple in Puerto Rican food. So my adobo came from Luisa. Ordered this online. Notice that it's salt free. Everything that had salt in it, whether it's Luisa or another brand, I just thought it was going to be too salty, and I'd rather control the salt myself. So this, as you can see, has a very yellow color compared to the other adobo that I bought. And it's got garlic, turmeric, which is where the yellow's coming from, black pepper, and oregano. And notice how it says no MSG. That was one of the things that I really did not want to have. No preservatives, no artificial colors, no artificial flavors. So I wish that you could smell this. It just smells amazing. So make sure that you join us for all our videos where we're going to be making recipes from this cookbook. I am very excited. I am definitely going to be making the mashed potatoes that have the meat stuffing that are deep fried. I'm going to be making a shrimp salad recipe he has in here. There's just so many things to choose from in this cookbook, along with, he even has a Cuba Libre in here, which is a type of Puerto Rican drink. Alcoholic drink, if you've never had one. It's usually Coke and rum. But I am really excited to make some of these rice dishes, and especially this ground beef with, I'm dying to try the flavor with the capers and the olives in it. Normally I sound salty for one thing, but I'm very excited to see it because I know it's going to be flavorful. I know it's going to be good. I usually don't have green olives in my food, but I love capers and I do like olives. So I'm very excited to try this. So make sure that you check out our other recipe videos that we'll be doing to make the easy Puerto Rican cookbook, 100 Classic Recipes Made Simple by Tony Rican, as in Puerto Rican. So it turns out that Tony is a fellow YouTuber. So make sure that you check out his channel, Average Guy Gourmet.